Welcome, everybody, to the March 2025 Outdoor Ethics and Conservation Roundtable. It's great to have you all here. It's been a gorgeous spring day here in Central Virginia. I hope it's been good weather where you are, too. Tonight, we have a great program for you. We're going to talk about a lot of the things that the Outdoor Ethics and Conservation Committee is doing with some national events. And we've got some other information that I think you're going to find very helpful as well. So our schedule is pretty much the agenda we've been following. After our opening, we'll have our safety moment on heart health. Then we're going to talk about the Outdoor Ethics and Conservation National Outreach Programs, and then some more at the end, like a new merit badge perhaps. And then we've got a FAQ and some announcements that we'll go through. We've got some important stuff in the announcements as well. After our closing, we will stay around, so there'll be open discussion for the people who would like to have a discussion with the recording turned off. So if you would please mute yourself and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Scout salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. To Scout oath. On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country and to obey the Scout law, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. The Scout law. The Scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. And now the outdoor code. As an American, I will do my best to be clean in my outdoor manners, to be careful with fire, be considerate in the outdoors, be conservation minded. Thank you, everybody. And now, Michelle, can you take us through the safety moment, please?
Yep. So February was Heart Health Month, but it's really important to talk about this any time of the year, especially with camp season coming up, with the AHMR, making sure that we know where all of our tools are, such as the AEDs at camp. It's a great time to go through it and make sure everything's good there. So I just wanted to hit on our heart health. If you look for it on scouting.org, the website is there and they have some additional pieces as well. Next slide. Heart disease is the #1 cause of death in the United States, and a heart attack occurs when a blood supply to the part of the heart is blocked, unlike cardiac arrest, which is an arrhythmia of the heart. So some heart disease, quick facts: it's very common. It's the leading cause of death for men, women, and people of all racial and ethnic groups. More than 800,000 people have a heart attack last year alone. More than 23,000 children experience cardiac arrest each year. And that's something I don't think we always keep in the forefront of our mind, especially as we're going trekking or at camp. Here in South Dakota, we have a very large hill that we have to go up and down, and we've seen kids struggle on that. So again, knowing what to do is a huge piece of our preparedness. High blood pressure is a leading cause of heart disease. Nearly half U.S. adults have high blood pressure, which puts them at a risk of heart disease and stroke. And it's very costly. Healthcare services, medications, and productivity loss from heart disease amounts to $252 billion between 2019 and 2020. So performing CPR and using an AED as soon as possible greatly increases the chance of someone surviving cardiac arrest. Next slide. Some heart healthy tips: stay active. Regular exercise improves circulation, lowers blood pressure, helps maintain a healthy weight. Know your numbers: weight, blood pressure, and cholesterol. Eat more fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. Eat less salt and saturated and trans fats, and quit smoking. Your lungs, your brain, and your heart are all compromised by smoking and vaping. We also have to remember that heart attacks are different between men and women. So knowing those differences can be a matter of life and death when we're talking about being out on camp or out on trek. It's best to identify those who might be at risk for cardiac events before leaving for a camp out or other event by reviewing the AHMR and ensuring that they've discussed their risk with their healthcare provider beforehand. I know I just went in for my physical and I took all the adventure-based ones that I was going to be at, even though I don't plan on doing any big treks out there. It's still important for the doctor to know what I'm going to be doing and to evaluate that. So I encourage all of our adult leaders to make sure that they're talking to their physicians as you get into AHMR season, as we get into camp season, trek season. And again, from a camp standpoint, knowing where your AEDs are, who's your first responders, who's trained. Compression only CPR is better than no CPR at all. So all of those are super important as we get into our readiness phase. With that, that's your safety moment.
Thank you, Michelle. And now it's time I'd like to move into our main topics here. We're going to start off with Mike Hunnicky from the Baltimore Area Council. He's going to talk about the conservation and outdoor ethics program opportunities that are at the 2026 National Jamboree. Mike?
Great, thank you, Paul. Can everyone hear me? Thumbs up. Yes, good. Okay, had a little audio issues before. So thanks, everybody, and it's a pleasure to be here today. I am the chair for the conservation exhibit area, the conservation trail, and that consists of 4 different program areas, and we're actively searching for staff, what we call JST, or the Jamboree Service Team, adult staff. And I just want to go over some of the opportunities and put my information out there if folks are interested or considering attending or joining us to help with the Jamboree in 2026. These are the things that we're doing in the world of conservation and outdoor ethics. Next slide, Paul. So first of all, this is the website for the National Jamboree. The theme is Elevate. The dates are there. These are when the scouts are in attendance, July 22nd through the 31st. If you look in the upper right-hand corner, there's a red button on the website, and that's where you click to register. And it's pretty straightforward. You go through and provide some of your information, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a moment. Next slide, Paul. So we have 4 different opportunities where you can work and serve in the conservation or outdoor ethics subject areas. And the first I'll talk about is, well, there's 4: the conservation trail, the outdoor ethics exhibit, which is on the conservation trail. We have an exhibit featuring Scouts for the Sustainable Development Goals, kind of an international flavor there. And then, of course, the Sustainability Treehouse. I'll talk about each of them briefly. Next slide, Paul. So the Conservation Trail is where we host all of our conservation organizations, our state and federal land management agencies, including the U.S. Forest Service, the National Park Service, U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, Bureau of Land Management, Natural Resources Conservation Service, state agencies like the West Virginia Division of Forestry, non-government organizations like Sustainable Forestry Initiative and the Society of American Foresters, and hopefully others. We also host several merit badges that are offered by our partners. The U.S. Forest Service typically offers pulp and paper. The Society of American Foresters offers forestry merit badge. We have an insect study merit badge that's run by our cadre. And we're hoping that we will also offer conservation interpretive programming or ecology interpretive program with our staff as well. We do have several talented professionals, biologists, foresters, and others that are on our staff, and we hope to be able to offer some extra programming there. We also have a welcome tent where we promote conservation programming in the scouting movement, such as the Distinguished Conservation Service Award and the other conservation awards and so forth. We have a passport program, and scouts come to our welcome tent and they receive a passport, and they go to each of the different exhibits, get a stamp in the passport, They visit everything, including the treehouse and the other exhibit areas, get all those stamps. They come back to us and they receive a patch. There, Gary's holding up the passport right now. So that was very popular last year, and we expect to do that again, maybe even broadening it to include some other areas. So as a staff member on the Conservation Trail, your purpose or your job would be to help our exhibitors who are partners with whatever logistical needs they have, with helping them to understand the scouting culture, because some of them may or may not have a scouting background, helping them with ushering scouts to their exhibit, logistical support like emptying their trash and filling their water jugs and those things, but also just whatever they need to be successful, we provide that. We track all the scouts. We have counters to count how many come through and welcome them. So it's a lot of fun and a good way to get to learn more about these different agencies that are on participating at the Jamboree. This area is located in the Boulder Cove area, if you're familiar with the summit. And so that's the Conservation Trail. We have, we're shooting for about 25 to 30 staff personnel. We currently have 9 registered. So we're looking for more. That's the Conservation Trail. I'll go through all of them and then we can cover any questions that may come out. So Paul, if you would hit the next slide, please. We also, one of the exhibitors on the Conservation Trail is, of course, our outdoor ethics folks. The National Subcommittee is there. And this is the exhibit, some pictures from it from the last Jamboree in 2023. They have an interpretive trail and banners and signs, and they offer some requirements from Camping Merit Badge related to outdoor ethics. And so the scouts come here and there's, again, an interpretive trail where they learn different things along the way about our outdoor ethics program in scouting. So here we need outdoor ethics trained folks who can help deliver the message at this exhibit. And the lead for this exhibit is Pastor Scott Johnson on the National Outdoor Ethics Subcommittee, and he leads that. And if you apply, he would be the one to work with you to get you through the application process if you select this exhibit. Okay. Paul, go ahead and hit the next slide, please. So this one is new. This is the first time we are offering an exhibit for Scouts for Sustainable Development Goals, and our own Scott Anderson, who's on here tonight, is the lead for this exhibit. We're hoping to set it up next to the Sustainability Treehouse because the messaging is similar. That's still to be determined, but this would be an opportunity for us to promote the International Sustainable Development Goals and or the Scouting for Clean Waterways program that's brand new. And this is a little bit still being developed because we have international programs and we need to just make sure that we are doing, or we're not duplicative of their programs. Scott is currently working on developing this. If you apply for this as one of your staff options, Scott Anderson will be reviewing your application. And then the last one, Paul, if you can hit the next slide, is the Sustainability Treehouse. And this is a permanent feature at the summit where Scouts can visit this. And it's all about the things you would find in Sustainability Merit Badge and green energy and conservation and sustainable living. And so there's as you go through the various levels of the treehouse that you see there, there's various interactive and interpretive exhibits where the Scouts can participate on things that generate energy and learn about wind power and all these different messages. It's perfect for anyone working on Sustainability Merit Badge. And for the Jamboree, we are staffing this with additional staff, and Morgan Buckner is the lead for the Sustainability Treehouse. So those are the 4 exhibit areas that are under our umbrella for conservation and outdoor ethics. And we'd welcome anybody who has an interest in serving on the staff. Next slide, Paul. So what does it cost? If you go to the website for the Jamboree to register, you can drill down and see the different options for the cost. I know that's kind of small and may not be easy to read, but the cost is varies depending on your age and whether you're working 1 week or the entire 2 weeks of the Jamboree. And then you pay in 3 installments. And you can see that breakdown there and the different sessions. So when you register, it asks you, are you registering for session 1, which is the entire Jamboree, session 2, which is the first half, or session 3, which is the second half. And this is the fee that covers your meals, you get a little bit of swag. It covers some program that they offer for the staff in the evenings and things like that. So what it doesn't cover is your tent and spending, anything you want to do to spend money at the Jamboree, that's on you. And doesn't cover transportation, of course, and that sort of thing. But this is the fee, and those are the payment schedules. And next slide, Paul. So I just want to mention a little bit about our goal and our plan is to give everyone who volunteers at least 1 day off where you get to go and enjoy the Jamboree as a visitor, a day visitor. That'll allow you to see everything that's in the Summit Center area, all of the exhibits, and actually participate in some of the activities. I went 1 year with my son. My son went with the council contingent, and I went as a JST member. And it was a great way to experience the Jamboree because I got to see him and I got to do what I enjoy doing. And we checked in every day. And then when I had my day off, I got to spend it with him. And that's a good thing to consider if you have a scout that is interested in attending as a participant. Maybe go near, and if you're not going with the contingent, you could go as a staff person and spend some time with your scout. So that's a little bit about life at the Jamboree. There's a uniforming expectation. We do the activity uniform, and we will have our own conservation trail polos or t-shirts so that we stand out as the service team, so that the scouts know who to look for and all that sort of thing. So I'll pause there. And I know I'm at my time. So if there are questions, please take a picture or a screenshot. You have my email there. That just send me a note and I can respond anything related to Jamboree. Happy to do that. We also have another email, conservation@scouting.org, which anything else related to conservation that we cover later tonight, you can send an email there and it will go to our staff advisor, Brian Gray, who shares those emails with me, and we develop a technical response. So those are the different ways of getting a hold of us. Let's see, I'm looking at the chat there. Yes, leave no trace is definitely a component of the conservation trail, and we have an exhibit there. If you choose to do that, select that as your primary. When you go through and register, you pick your primary, secondary, and your first, second, and third options. And as you go through the approval process, the first person on your first option either approves you, or if they're filled, they'll pass and you'll go to the second. So that's how that works. I think there's a question about Scouts for SDGs. Will they be promoting the Messenger of Peace program? And I don't know if we know that for sure yet. Scott's on. If you know the answer, you can chime in, but I think we're still hashing out the specific details about who's going to cover which, whether it's us or international programs and so forth. And if there's anything to add, Scott, please chime in.
Yeah, Mike, I'll just add in that no, Messenger of Peace will be done at the International Tent. Our SDG exhibit is only going to focus on the environmental and sustainability themed SDGs that fall under the Earth Tribe category. So if you know anything about that breakdown. So the life on land, life below water, clean water and sanitation, those SDGs fit under our domain.
Right. You were hoping to have traveling trainers there and hopefully tread lightly all these other partners who've been in our Jamborees in the past. So anyway, I will pause there because I know we have a full agenda tonight, Paul, and we can come back for questions at the end if folks are inclined. Back
That'd
to
be
you.
great. If you have any other questions, just pop them in the chat and we can get to them later. So with that, Scott, can I turn it over to you,
All right,
please?
just turn my mic off. I'll back on.
Okay.
So hi, everybody. It's great to see everybody again. I am going to tell you a little bit about the National Outdoor Conference, which is scheduled September 17th through the 21st in 2025 at Philmont Scout Ranch. And this particular conference is held every 2 years at one of our National High Adventure bases. They tend to be terrific opportunities for council volunteers to learn a great deal about property management and outdoor programs. Next slide. So there's a link, and if somebody can copy that and throw that into the chat, that would be helpful. I'll try to do it. No, I can't do it.
You got it, Scott.
And next slide. So what is the National Outdoor Conference? Well, it's the largest biennial conference for volunteers and professionals that are charged with delivering our outdoor program for youth. Now, the National Outdoor Conference features many elective sessions. Some of them will follow a track. So there might be an outdoor ethics track. There might be an aquatics track. You may pick and choose whatever sessions you'd like to attend, regardless of what track they're a part of. There'll be a keynote speaker. There are vendor exhibits, plenty of time for fellowship, and a wonderful opportunity to experience a little bit of Philmont. Next slide. So, who should attend? Well, if you are a council level volunteer or a district volunteer or a CST volunteer and you work in program, you definitely should attend this conference. All other volunteers are welcome if you are just handling your unit's outdoor program. This conference will give you plenty of opportunity to learn about the wonderful programs that are offered by Scouting America. Next slide. What is it about? Well, this year, the conference selected a theme rooted in the outdoors. Scouting moving forward. And next slide. All of the sessions are going to be focused on one of these 5 key pillars. So leading our youth safely forward, changing and improving the way we all work together, making our programs relevant to today's youth, broadening our appeal and revitalizing our brand, and then strengthening our financial position. So, you know, when we think of outdoor program, we understand the safety components in almost all of the outdoor programs that we run. And what is the most up-to-date safety information is what you might learn at the conference there. Improving the way we work together is going to be how your committee can work with other committees in your council and work toward the same goals. So it's a way that you can learn to interact and collaborate within your council and with other councils to market and sell your programs. Making our programs highly relevant to today's youth. You know, are we doing the right activities that they're interested in? And are we doing them safely? And are we providing training programs that help them with the way they lead today? The fourth pillar, broadening our appeal and revitalizing our brand. We know how important it is to demonstrate to the world the value of Scouting America. And, you know, I keep touting the new Scouting for Clean Waterways is a great opportunity to broaden our appeal and revitalize the Scouting America brand. What we want is we want everyone in this country to think of Scouting America as being a terrific opportunity for their youth to learn how to be the best citizens of tomorrow. And then lastly is strengthening our financial position, how to make our programs and our camps financially sustainable and successful, how to maybe use some of the property features that we have, like maybe our forest resources to help our financial position. All of this is important to our councils. And if you have any connection there and would like to learn more, this is the conference to come to gain that information. Next slide. So who is presenting? Well, that's not been decided yet, but I will tell you that the representatives from all of the outdoor programs and properties subcommittees will be putting on sessions, as well as some of the other national committees. So we typically will hear from a session on sea scouting or venturing. We might hear something from Scouting U. So it is a wonderful networking opportunity to get to know the national players that are out there delivering outdoor program to our youth. Next slide. And then can you present at one of these conferences? Well, absolutely. If you have a topic that you think meets one of those 5 pillars and you would like to present at the conference, you can click on this link, or if you go to the outdoor program /mock link, you can find at the bottom, I want to present at the conference, and then you can see the fill out a request for proposal here link, and that'll get you to the form. And everybody is welcome to enter opportunities to present. All of those are going to be compiled. The deadline is April 30th for requests. Then a committee has been put together that's going to look at all of those presentation topics and determine which is going to be the best fit to make this conference a success. Next slide. What is the Philmont experience? Well, for many of us that have been to Philmont, we always look for an opportunity to do something fun. And the conference itself is held at the Philmont Training Center. And there are some activities that are going to happen at camping headquarters. We'll go over there for a barbecue, and we'll go over there for a kind of special day where we examine all types of foods. And those are fun. But there are a variety of accommodations that are available to you, everything from their wall tents to their glamping tents to the cabins. The museums will be open, and Saturday is Fun Day, where you can sign up for one of the many activities to explore Philmont. So it might be a day hike to Lover's Leap or to the Tooth of Time. It might be going out fly fishing or out for a trail ride. There'll be plenty of opportunities, and something will pique your interest, I'm sure, to experience and enjoy your fun day at Philmont. Next slide. So BSA, I still left that in the title. Paul, if you will fix that before you share it with everyone else. I'm trying to get the BSAs out of everything, but we are struggling. There are a variety of pre-conference activities that go on before the conference starts, and most of them run the Monday and Tuesday or the Tuesday and Wednesday morning before the conference, and they'll be listed on that conference registration page. But in addition to that, we are also running a Leave No Trace Level 2 course, and since it's a 5-day offering, it doesn't show up as one of the pre-conference activities. But it starts on September 12th, and it concludes on Wednesday, which is the arrival time for the outdoor conference. And you can tie both of them together if you'd like, or just attend the Level 2 instructor course. But either way, we hope that we can see you there. Scholarships are available for the Leave No Trace Level 2 instructor course. If you'll hit that link, you can find out more information, or if you go to our own website, you'll find out more about the scholarships. Next slide. And I think that was it. National Outdoor Conference. I hope to see you there. There is a link at the bottom on that conference registration page. Registration is not actually opened yet, but you can put your name and your email address and hit submit, and you'll get a notice the minute that registration opens. I will tell you that they typically give a early sign-up bonus. So be sure to get in on that early sign-up bonus. Next slide. And I hope to see you all at the National Outdoor Conference. I'll be happy to answer any questions. We can do it at the end. Instructor course, Trek style or static floor band? No, it is a Trek style course. So it is a backcountry Philmont Trek course. Question regarding the Philmont Training Center's Master Track Award. I don't have the answer to that. I will copy the chat and I will get that answer to you. I'm just not sure. I'm not sure what the award requirements are. I believe it's usually attending one of the Philmont Training Center sessions, and I don't know that this qualifies, but I can find an answer to that question for you. That's all I have, Paul.
Thank you.
Oh, going right into the FAQ.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
All right,
I got the order.
Today's FAQ, and if you'll step on next slide. Next slide. So I recently got an email that they had a scout contact them, asking them to set up a skills course so they could work on the National Medal for Outdoor Achievement. And the volunteer could no longer find the award requirements on scouting.org. So they asked, is the award still offered? And if you'll step on. So the short answer is no. In January 1st, the National Medal for Outdoor Achievement was officially retired. It was done so. They've been looking at that award for the last couple of years and just didn't see the efficacy of keeping it. And they needed to remake the medals, and they decided just to simply retire that award. Next slide. The long answer is, if you have a scout that has already been actively working on the award program, they may be able to still earn that award. Now, the award will be the one that says Boy Scouts of America. It is the old medal. There are still some copies available at National Supply. The way to move forward on this is the scout should contact their scout executive to seek their approval to continue. And the scout probably would need to demonstrate that they have made active progress on that award requirement prior to its retirement on January 1st. So, for example, if they only need one more course and they've been working on that Medal for Outdoor Achievement, I think a scout executive is going to say, yes, you can complete the award, and they'll go ahead and try to secure that medal for you. Next slide. So what are the things when you actually click on the link for the requirements? You're still going to see the old requirement, which says become a Leave No Trace Level 1 instructor. We know that requires you to be 18 years of age or older. It was officially changed, but it does not appear in the paperwork that still exists. It has been officially changed to complete a 16-hour Leave No Trace skills course from a certified Leave No Trace Level 1 or Level 2 instructor. Anybody that ever has difficulty with that, they can please reach out to me, and I will get a letter to the Scout executive along with from me and from Brian Gray, making that clear that it was the changed requirement. Next slide. So I also recommend that if the scout is close to finishing that award, to ask the scout executive to go ahead and order that award. National Supply only has a handful of them, and they're not going to last. And once they're gone, they're gone. So I put in here on this slide a link to National Supply. I also put a link to the paperwork that you need to file for the award. So next slide. Yep. So thank you all for what you do to support outdoor ethics and conservation and scouting. I do want to take 1 minute to shout out to a dear old friend of mine, Dave Bates. It is terrific to see you. And for those that don't know, when Leave No Trace was becoming something, Dave Bates was the professional who made it possible and made sure that the Boy Scouts of America was in the conversation and we were at the table. And since his leadership, we became providers of the Leave No Trace Master Educator courses that became instructor courses. And Leave No Trace in scouting is where it is today because of the leadership that was provided by David Bates. And thank you, David. It's great to see you on the call.
Thank you, Scott. Good to see you.
And I'll leave it at that. Thank you, Paul.
Okay. Now, Mike, To you again, if I would, please.
Okay, I'm back. So, all right, well, thanks, Paul. So, Paul asked me to talk about a new merit badge pilot that's in play, and here we go. So, a couple of things I want to mention. First of all, is the website that Paul currently has up is called the Scouting America Test Lab, and this is a brand new concept. And what we're doing is using this test lab to test out two things. One of them is merit badge proposals to see if they're viable and if there's enough interest to do them, but also the merit badge, the process. And what I mean by that is that we're looking at going away from the historic merit badge pamphlets that you're all familiar with to online content, and not having a printed book, but having websites that they go to, or something like similar to what you might see on Scouting U. And so what we've done is we have 3 merit badge pilots, new merit badges that are in the test lab, and you go and visit those, and then there's a series of web links where you find before you go there, Paul. I want to talk about the test lab a little bit, but you find web content that you watch that's in the public domain, and then you learn about the requirements there. So first of all, how does the test lab work? Now, notice these are hexagons, not circles. They're not merit badges. They're merit badge pilots. Okay, so if you go up to the very top of this web page, it lists the rules, how a scout works on the pilot, right? So any registered adult can work with the scout. There is no merit badge counselor because it's not a merit badge. So you can find any adult, hopefully someone who has a familiarity with the content, but that's not a requirement. So the scout finds a registered adult scouter and they work on the requirements together. The merit badges on their the pilots have a time period by when it has to be completed. After that expiration date, it will be removed from the test lab and either made into an official merit badge or not. Okay, when the requirements are finished successfully, the scout clicks on the very last requirement, and it's a survey where they evaluate the merit badge pilot. And then at the very end, it produces a certificate of completion that's signed by the adult. Okay, and if and when the merit badge pilot becomes an official merit badge, that signed certificate is essentially the blue card, if you know the merit badge application, and then that scout can present that signed certificate to their unit advancement person and actually then receive the merit badge. If the scout turns 18 between now and then, they can still get credited for the merit badge, and it can count towards Eagle Scout Palm. And so those are kind of how the rules work. And the idea is to get feedback to see if the requirements are appropriate and if this process of working through an online web method is going to work, right? That's the whole idea, to see if that works. So one of the merit badges pilots that we have is Wildland Fire Management. Now, Paul, if you want to click on the middle button down there, there you see the 3 of them, but Wildland Fire Management. And this is the notion behind this merit badge pilot is to recognize that we have a national wildfire crisis in America. And all you have to do is turn on the news. It used to be that we would have fire seasons. Now we refer to it as the fire year. And even today, there are large wildfires burning in the United States. We had as you know, the Palisades fire in the LA County area in January. It's unusual to have Hurricane Force Santa Ana winds in January. That's a November phenomenon, right? So we're having these fire seasons that have extended. We're having all kinds of environmental issues that have gotten us where we are. And what we're doing as Scouting America is saying we want to be part of the solution. We want to do our part to help the wildfire crisis strategy. And we can do that by offering a merit badge where perhaps 10 to 20,000 scouts a year have an opportunity to learn about our profession, to learn about living with fire, to learn about impacts from smoke from wildfires and how that affects public health and their health, but also what they can do in their community or on their camp or around their house to make their property fire-wise. And through the merit badge requirements, they learn about living with fire and the benefits of managed prescribed fire, right, as a tool versus the harm of wildfire. Okay, and the two, comparing and contrasting the two. We also, as I mentioned, they learn about the profession. So things like the incident command system and how wildfires are managed and how they're different from what we would think of as a structural firefighter, which you might see in fire science merit badge. So they learn about the equipment and the personal protective gear and the different strategies and tactics that are employed by the wildland firefighter versus the structural firefighter. It's a completely different bona fide profession. And these are our heroes here in America. So, and as you go through the requirements, you'll notice there are links that refer to each of the requirements. So the scout would go through with the advisor and view these online videos or websites to learn about this requirement. So requirement 1 is explain the history of wildland fire in America, right? So they have, a video that they can watch, and then they can go to the National Interagency Fire Center website to learn about the 10 most catastrophic fires in American history and the lessons that were learned through the decades and how we fight fire. You can learn about the next requirement. We talk about the harm caused by wildfire. So these are all the requirements related to harmful fire in America and the impacts, the negative impacts that wildfire has on our environment. And it asks them to investigate those different topics. And there are videos that they can watch about wildland fires. Okay, and then it goes into beneficial fire, prescribed fire, and fire as a tool. So the whole spectrum of wildland fire, because it's not wildland fire suppression, it's wildland fire management. And so a wildfire is a bad fire, but a prescribed fire or managed fire could be a good fire with offering benefits. So it talks about those concepts. And if you scroll down, then we go into a little bit about suppression, fire suppression. So what is defensible space and how can that concept be applied to your home to make it more fire-wise? The urban wildland interface, where homes and urban areas and the forest meet, where we have these catastrophic fires like the ones we've seen on TV recently. We talk about the causes of wildfire and how we can prevent wildfire in America. We talk then a little bit about fire science, the fire triangle, which are the elements that are required for a fire for combustion, and then also the fire environment, the things that control and influence the fire's behavior. They learn about that. Then we talk about suppression tactics, indirect attack, direct attack, parallel attack. Keep scrolling, Paul. So these are tactics. So they learn a little bit about how a fire is suppressed, and there's videos that go with that. We talk about tools and equipment that are used in the wildland arena and how it's different than the tools that structural firefighters use and the personal protective equipment. And then we talk about some of the rules that wildland firefighters follow, like the standard firefighting orders and the watch out situations, and one of our acronyms, LCES, the 4 things that must be in place before we engage a wildfire: lookouts, communication, escape routes, and safety zones. Talk about how fires are managed, so the government agencies and jurisdictions that are involved where you live and how they work together in the incident command system under the National Incident Management System, and talk about careers in wildland fire. And then the last requirement there, as you can see, last couple requirements, we have them do a project in their home community or camp that can help reduce the potential for wildland fire, or maybe do a fire prevention campaign, or talk to a fire official, learn more about it in their community. And then we ask them to research a catastrophic fire and learn about how that changed how we fight fire in America. So it's pretty comprehensive. We think that it covers a lot of different topics, and the feedback that we've received thus far has been very positive. The Merit Badge Test Lab will run until June of 2026. We're hoping that we can do a formal kind of, if not an official launch, but a celebration at the Jamboree with our federal land management partners who are involved in wildland fire management in the country, and maybe even have a really cool exhibit there related to wildland fire with some pretty neat equipment that the scouts can see. So that's the Wildland Fire Management Merit Badge. We're very proud of it. This has been an effort of the National Conservation and Outdoor Ethics Committee, and thus those of us on the conservation side, probably for over a decade, we've been working to try to get this across the finish line. So this is a great accomplishment, and we're very, very proud of this, as are all of our partners who have sent letters of support. And our hope is, if it's accepted, a lot of these public domain videos will replace with our own videos that we would make that would tell the story a little bit more relatable, in a way that scouts would resonate more with the scouting youth. So there's the website for the test lab. I will stop there and happy to answer any questions. Okay, back to you, Paul.
Okay, thank you, Mike. That's a very exciting merit badge candidate, I guess, at this point. But I can see a lot of youth being very, very interested in that, and that's a good thing. Okay, so now it's time for we move into the announcements phase. Michelle, would you like to talk about the COEA course that's coming up?
I'd love to. So we've been running these virtual training courses for the past couple of years. It is always fun to meet in person, but that is not always practical. So we've started offering some virtual training courses. Our next one coming up is on a Sunday. We had a request that some people just can't meet on Saturdays. So this one will be on Sundays. It's 2 Sundays, May 4th and May 18th. You need to attend both sessions. It will run from 1:30 to 6:30 Central Time. So do some math if you need to do math. If you'd like to register, there's no cost for the training. We just want you to come and connect with everybody. It's also getting familiar with being a COEA. You can send your name, BSID number, council and unit number to Outdoor Ethics Roundtable Committee, and we'll get that, and then you'll get an email from one of us that teach the COEA course. Right now it's myself, Paula Booth, and John Gehring. And so you'll get an email from us that kind of gives you an outline of what we're going to be doing. If you're not a COEA but want to help your COEA, maybe lighten the burden a little bit, many hands make light work. We are glad to have you. We had a couple at our last one where they just want to help out the COEA, or maybe they're the succession plan. They're looking at becoming the COEA in the future. So getting that pre-training is fantastic, and we welcome you.
Great.
And of
I think
course,
you
the way to
covered
attend.
that. Okay. Thank you. And I think you've heard Scouting for Clean Waterways a few times during this roundtable. Just would like to chip in with a little comment that spring's a great time to be getting outdoors and scouting for clean waterways and starting off the year right, cleaning up properties. We've been out inside all winter. It's time to get outside. People want to get outside. This is a great time to start some programs with projects with Scouting for Clean Waterways. So the other thing I'd like to encourage folks to do is to go to the Scouting for Clean Waterways site, which is listed there, and we'll put it in the chat. And if you go down to the bottom, you can subscribe to updates. So you'll hear about any changes, any updates, new information coming out on Scouting for Clean Waterways. So great place to keep yourself informed on, what's happening with this great program. And Scott mentioned about level 2 instructor courses. Here are the courses that are currently scheduled for the remainder of this year. The link to find them is here on the side, and the link for the scholarship information is right below it. We'll post that in the chat as well for you. We've been saying this for a few months, but the outdoorethics-bsa.org site is going away. As a matter of fact, if you put that in your browser now, it redirects to the new site, which is scouting-oec.org. So please go through, and if you've got bookmarks or if you've got them in any documentation, please update them as you find them, because at some point those links are not going to forward anymore. And we don't want your documentation or your browser links to be broken. So just a reminder to go through, check them, and update them wherever you might find them. If you do find something that doesn't work because of the move, let Mark Hammer know. Email webmaster@scouting-oec.org. Okay, and now this is from Paul. I like to put pictures in the roundtable charts. If you've got some great pictures, whether it be of wildlife, activities, whatever, that we can use in a future roundtable presentation, the way I use this picture from Matt Durant here, please send them in. Love to have your pictures. It's a great way to share all the excitement that goes with being in scouting. As always, looking for your feedback. Email to roundtable@scouting-oec.org is a great way to get in touch with us. You can use a forum if a forum is more comfortable for you. There's that link right there. But your feedback is really a gift to us, because we want to make this valuable to you. And the way we make it valuable is we hear what you need, and then we can provide that. So we're looking to hear from you, and I really appreciate those of you who've been giving feedback, and I encourage everybody else to do that as well. Now, to close out the roundtable, I have my Leopold reading for the evening. When dandelions have set the mark on May on Wisconsin pastures, it's time to listen for the final proof of spring. Sit down on a tussock, cock your ears at the sky, dial out the bedlam of meadowlarks and redwings, and soon you may hear it, the flight song of the upland plover, just now back from the Argentine. So, have some background here. But you see here, here's a picture of a robin over here. If you listen, you got that robin? I picked a robin, not because it's got the best song, but I wanted to pick a bird that I think most of the country would be familiar with. And I think most of the country knows the robin. So here's what I've got as an activity idea for you. When you're out with your youth, sometime have them listen to the song and put it into words or syllables. What are they saying? So I was out walking this afternoon, and I know I heard a red-winged blackbird say, "I'm over here, I'm over here." I know that's what that bird was saying. So ask the kids, what are those birds saying? And I think it's a great way to get them to pick it out. And then if they hear multiple birds, well, what's that bird saying back? It's a great way to do that. So there's a fun activity you can do when you're out and just listening to the birds. So that was it for the evening. As always, our roundtables are recorded and we post them at the roundtable website. Notice we've got a new website here. It's much easier. So scouting-oec.org/roundtable, which is much shorter than it used to be. And thank you, Mark. I love it. So go there, you can see the recordings, and also if there are ever materials or references in the roundtable, we'll post those on that site as well for you. So that's always there. Now, of course, if you're not able to attend the roundtable live, you can watch the recording. Next month, we're going to do who we are and what we do. So this is the Program Operations Committee section of the Outdoor Ethics and Conservation Subcommittee. And so we'll learn about how the structure is, who do you go to for help, what do the different people do in there. And this is all about, once again, how we're structured to directly help you out in the field. And with that, that's what we have for the roundtable. Thank you so much for joining, and I hope to see everybody back next month for our April roundtable.